in the middle of Beis Vav. So he's explaining that the Milchama of the Yevonim was on the Kedusha of Torah. And in detail, that meant that not only were they against the Chukim dimension of Torah, which is beyond rationale, but they're also against Eidos and Mishpatim. That's because if a Jew will observe it for pure and rational reasons, that was fine. But to do Eidos and Mishpatim, because the Pnimius is really beyond Seichel, as we explained, that too was their object of opposition. Now, moreover, he added that even to be Mekayim a mitzvah, because Seichel understands that there has to be higher than Seichel. Seichel understands that Gvul, the origin cannot be Gvul, the origin has to be a big Gvul. In other words, we're really talking about who God is. There's three levels. There's God as creator, divine intelligence. And then there's a recognition that even divine intelligence, if it's intelligence, therefore it's limited, therefore subject to change, therefore can't be eternal. So there's got to be some origin behind the divine intelligence. The language of Chassidus, not the Maimer, in general. Seviv Kalalmin, they're masking to that also. As long as that's logically imperative, that there has to be an infinite origin. Which means that even to Mekayim mitzvahs, where I recognize there's no reason, but I understand that the source has to be beyond reason. I understand that the source has to be beyond reason. In other words, infinite is graspable, as it were, indirectly, but perforce by logic. So what the Milchama is on Atzmos. The Milchama is on the Eibishter himself, that's beyond Beligvul, beyond Gvul, who commanded the mitzvah, the pure Ratzon. The pure Ratzon is because it is. There's no because. That was the Milchama. Again, it's a really Milchama and who is God? What is reality? So they agreed. They could even agree that reality is not merely the manifested order that we see. There's a transcendent, infinite source. The force, and quantum physics is virtually seeing it. There must be responsible for this order that consistently translates. That's where it stops. That's where logic stops. You don't need more than that. You don't need more than that. And that was the whole war was the Tzinecha on Atzmos. That mitzvahs are rooted in the essence of Hashem, and it's like God is because He is, and so too the essence of mitzvahs simply transcend not just logic, but transcend beyond logic. And he explained that the reason that they are invested in Seichel, in Paradis, in Shadrem, is Drush and Sod, is because of God's chesed, His desire and love for a relationship with us. Okay, now we're up to that's completely up. We're up to so. It's a different line in here. Okay, what is the Tonu Rabbonon? Yeah. Hey.
Coffee was a whole saga this morning, huh?
Huh?
I said getting coffee was a whole saga this morning.
Yeah, but you lost like Gemara. So in light of the above, we'll understand the Gemara's description of what happened on Chanukah. It's a strange description. When the Yevonim entered into the Heichal is the actual sanctuary, the place where the menorah is and the Oren and his Be'er Hazav, So, Timo Kol Hashmanim Shebeichel, that's B'Chala Shad, there's no oil in the Heichel. That's another question. The oil is stored elsewhere. But anyway, so they contaminated all of the oils. The Mashmois Haloshen, or the inference here is that was the whole intent. The Gemara does not say they entered, they contaminated the Beis Hamikdash, and as part of that, they contaminated the oil. That's not the description. The description is when they entered the Heichal, they contaminated the oil, implying that was the sole objective. And we understand why? Because that's not just Stam Tumah, but Tumah Shemen, and not even Tumah of the Heichal, which we're going to explain. Shemen is, as we said earlier, is Chachma. The Mashmois Haloshen Keshenichnusu Heichal. I failed to mention this, omitted to mention that in explanation earlier of mitzvahs, explained that even the time of mitzvahs, the true time, which is Chacham Datzilut, it's also beyond grass. Never mind the higher than time. Even the emes time is beyond grass, which is Chacham Datzilut. Beyond human intelligence. It is Chachma, but beyond human intelligence. At any rate, now back to, so the Kavanah was, so they entered the Heichel, they effort and strive, the Tamid, Hashmanim, that was the goal, they were after the oil. In brackets, so therein would be the victory, God forbid, of the Yidden. Why? Not enough the Heichel itself. Because ki Heichel hu bina v'shem and chachma shalamayim ha'seichel hu bina. He's referring here to the famous quotation from Sefer Yetzirah, brought in Chassidus, describing chachma as nekuda b'heichel, which means a point in the chamber. You understand what that means? A chamber is a developed room, bina develops the idea, and the kuda and the chachma is in the kuda. So chachma is, in summary, what is chachma? Chachma is the objective bittul, not my analysis, my take on God, but the objective truth of the Eibishter, beyond my language analysis and filtering, like seeing something. You see something, camera doesn't lie. Bina is the analysis, the chamber, the context. Bina is Maloshan Binyan, you're building, one of the meanings of the word Bina. You build an entire edifice and you express it in your language, and it's filtered through the recipient, something, me. Whereas Chachma is also me, but Chachma is the bittul of the me, seeing the truth of the age. So now, therefore, Shem, which he said earlier, floats on top of all liquids, and Shemen by definition, Shemen Mishchas Kodesh. The holy anointing oil, it's called, the Torah calls it holy. So he's now back to the Maimek. Heichal will bina. Heichal is bina. They went after the bina. V'shemen u'chachma shalamayim ha'seichel bina. And what is shemen? Shemen is the oil which is higher than bina. Kenal sivbeish shemen u'pchinas kodesh. Shemen means holy, removed. That's the war. That cannot be. Now it's bina alone understanding, they appreciated that. They were rationalists. That was the whole Mechama. The whole Mechama was Timo Kol Hashmanim Shebeichel Bina. They wanted to remove the Shmanim, the Shem, and the Kodesh, the Nekudas HaChochma, which Nekudas HaChochma is the gateway to the truth of the Eibush, to the truth of Torah mitzvahs, that it's Chukim Ritzenecha. It is because it is. There's no rationale for it at all. Just like there's no rationale, God forbid, for God. In order to carry out their intent, their nizima means their nefarious plan. Actually, this means a plan. To make them forget your Torah, and as explained, the diukim of chukim and the tzoyin necha, not just the rotzim, but it's a necha. Your will is bound up with atmos. Do Torah, keep mitzvahs, but do it mitzat seichel, and stretch intellect to its limits, and recognize that there is infinite and beyond intellect. Find that as long as that's part of the equation, as long as seichel has agreed, and the starting point is the self, And all this was their position. In the end, everything can be explained. Not today, tomorrow, but everything can be explained. And the answer is everything can be explained except for Atzim, says for the Eibush himself. The wool can be explained, the bleak wool can be explained. There has to be bleak wool if there's wool. Wool can't appear in a vacuum. So here they continue, Izvo. They, the Natsech Milchama Zu, yeah, we're clear. In order to be victorious over this Milcham, must speak about the Shapitavadas. So what does it mean? So not enough to serve the Eibishter based on rationale, and not even to have an avodah of Kabbalah Sel, which is hiding seichel. In other words, to have faith. I don't have to understand everything, but I understand that I don't have to understand everything. I recognize that. Can't understand everything, and some things I will understand tomorrow, and other things are just beyond understanding. But I recognize that. That's not enough. Because the Yavanim are asking the section of it. In brackets, the avodah of higher than Tam V'das, that is connected to Tam V'das, which means Seichel, acknowledging its limits, that is the avodah mitzvah b'chinas chayim, makif hakodim. As we learned in the previous Maimar, the level of chayim, which corresponds to Seviv Kol Almin. The Greeks are asking to that. If that's your God, that's your Yiddishkeit, go ahead, it's wonderful. We agree. It's a little demanding for us, but it's certainly a beautiful way to live. So that's not the answer. The answer is this isn't about a beautiful way to live. The answer this is about a likus mamish. The kivin shetimvu gam es kol hashman. We're not preserving our lifestyle. That's all we're fighting for. The kivin shetimvu, if lifestyle means that. Because why is this avodah not enough? I mean, it's a Sambedic thing. Not enough seichel, not even enough Kabbalah seichel based on seichel. You understand? You've got to push yourself sometimes. He understands that. So he pushes himself. If I don't, there's got to be. So that's all a seichel thing. So the problem with that is, if I understand that sometimes I need Kabbalah seichel, then what happens? And sometimes I don't need Kabbalah Zohar. Now it suits me, whatever reason, just to get the rabbi off my back, whatever it is. So okay, we'll do it. We'll go the extra mile. I mean, you got to be nice. How long can you resist being nudged? So there's an element of Kabbalah Zohar, but the Kabbalah Zohar is based on seichel. So I'm just saying, practically speaking, that Kabbalah Zohar is constantly needs to be propped up. But if the Kabbalah Sale is rooted in the emes and the Yechida and the Etzem and the Shoma, this is just the way it is. In the words of Chassidim, Azaya nicht anders. It's like this, and there's no other way. There's no other There's no other options. Then that's permanent. Okay, so we're not born with Yechida revealed. This itself is an avodah. I know, so again, not enough makif hakara, because since they contaminate all the oil, I know, gam and yodim, the kedusha shalamayim tavadas, ella, akshurim tavadas. It's not enough to have an avodah that's hide in seichel, but it's ella, but bound up in seichel. No, it's elim. Sorry. Also, those in yonim of dusha that are hiding in tam v'das, but are bound up with tam v'das. That's a level. It's a level of chayit. It's a level of self-calm, and that's not enough. But it's a fact. There is. We're not ignoring that there is seichel, and there is in yonim which is hiding seichel, which seichel acknowledges. So that has to be part of our avodah, but it's not. We can't be the foundation. We can't end there. It can't start there, and it can't end there. We're talking about Mesiras Nefesh, and not a sichlis dik Mesiras Nefesh either. Not an agenda driven Mesilas Nefesh, because that's Chayim. But a true Mesilas Nefesh, Azay nicht anders. No gain, no loss, this is what it is. Dina Mesilas Nefesh, Amid the Beteke, what's Mesilas Nefesh? Is standing strong, negative call, Almeni Ma'akrim. Against all opposition, internal and external. This is an essential takeoff that's fundamentally beyond seichel. True Mesilas Nefesh, a person gives up their life for a cause. It's completely induced by logic. He's got a cause, and he knows he's going to further it by dying. That's not true Mesilas Nefesh. It's not because of any agenda. And here's the word, it cannot be any other way. That's Mesilas Nefesh. And where does that come from? This comes from the essence of Neshama, not Chaya, but rather P'chinas Yechida. The Nizkash is Atzmi, so she'efshe klal is beifadachat has v'sholem. An essential bond means it can't be any other way. Can't breathe. It's a discussion. Yes, breathe. Don't breathe. It's not a discussion. Now, this is the victory that was brought about, because this level can never be contaminated. It can be hidden, but it can't be contaminated. And not shaychen ipgam and iblemish of tumachas v'sholem. In brackets, b'dugmas apach echad shel shemen, like this, the one, the diak is pach echad. You can just find a pach, a cruise. They found one cruise. The one cruise is a remes to the oneness, the echidah sheben shemen. The pach echad shel shemen shayachosam b'chisam shel kohen gadol, which is associated with kedesh hakadoshim. Only he enters there. That's the Yechidah Sheben Neshama. No extraneous forces can contaminate there. There's no parallel. It's the absolute truth in the face of which nothing else can present any opposition. Just occurs to me, the beautiful story we'll share today is a beautiful expression of this. Now, you day I did Mesilas Nefesh Musad Yechida. So I did Mesilas Nefesh Musad Yechida. And the day is a Dafke Menatzchem Esamulchama. So it's only through this that we're victorious in the Mulchama. Like it was in Mulchama then. Mesilas Nefesh Matisyo Bono. Through Matisyo and his sons Mesilas Nefesh. And don't you know what's the big Mesilas Nefesh? Is that they were a minority amongst Yidden and they were mocked and scoffed by most Jews. And he hints to that. They were weak and they were few. Elsewhere, that explains it. I think I mentioned, Zaydin got Ishke was talking about Yidden. Even to main bat Tahir, nothing doesn't apply to the environment. So nonetheless, vastly outnumbered and unpopular, and people were saying that you're causing anti-Semitism, you're causing you're causing the Greeks to oppress us. They were saying it, not to show you're the problem. Nonetheless, under Mesilas Nefesh, that Mesilas Nefesh, lochem neged giborim v'rabim, to wage war against the mighty and the many, and because of their emes, so they awakened and they affected Gambanchi Deiron, their fellow Jews, the people of the generation who joined them. Limser Nafshem Al Kiddush Hashem, they joined Maccabi, Mi Lashem Elai, Mikal Lechabedam Hashem. That was their rallying call, and Mi Lashem Elai. As the Levim said, who was with God, come with me, and Jews joined them. And they were Moishe, and they didn't think they're going to win. They didn't think they're going to win. This was a battle. They didn't think they were going to win. But to come in the other way. So they were Moishe Nevesh, like Kiddush Hashem, like now, but allowed Das B'Shulayv, not to transgress the Das, the religion literally. Under any circumstance, and they said, and that brought about the great victory. Hine Nitzach Ois Zayin. Sorry? When the victory is with Mesiras Nefesh, it's b'shleimus, as we said kind of before. That if my Kabbalah's oil is itself, it has its agenda, and it's not whole and complete. But when it comes from Mesiras Nefesh, it's b'shleimus. The Neisem was within Mesiras Nefesh. In addition to the fact that Avodah of Mesiras Nefesh L'Yosef Ba Mitzad Etzem, true. So it comes from the essence of the neshama. So if you touch the essence, it permeates everything, because everything is nothing other than the expression of the essence. To explain, if you're touching a level, if you're touching an aspect, a level of something, it doesn't mean you're addressing every other aspect of that thing. You're addressing that aspect of it. But when you address the essence of whatever subject you're dealing with, then, or person or thing, then by extension, you're addressing every part of it, because every part of it is nothing other than the essence. Is that clear? If you're dealing with something at its atomic level, to use the atom as the relative essence of what it is, but relatively speaking, because all things are made up of atoms. So if you're addressing something at its atomic level, you're going to be addressing every part of it, because everything is nothing other than made up of atoms. If you're addressing, that's the holistic medicine, or actually homeopathy is supposed to do that. It's supposed to address the core essence of the body, and therefore it will manifest itself or whatever. It will cleanse all the manifestations and bring healing. That's the idea behind it. As opposed to external medicine, conventional medicine, tooth is a tooth, and eye is an eye. They're different worlds, like to do with each other. Specialists in different areas doesn't even know. He knows b'chlolus, but so that's you dealing externally, fixing it from the outside. If you fix from the outside, you fix one thing, and if you fix something else, doesn't mean you fix something else. But if you're dealing with the totality, the essence of the person, then it's going to heal everything, not just that. So that's the reset.
Except for the wiring.
Huh?
Except the wiring of the person.
What?
Except the wiring of the person.
Except?
The seichel and midas is possible. It's not possible to change. It's very difficult to change.
And he's saying yes. He said, if it's mitzad the etzem, if it's Mesiras Nefesh, unlocks the Yechidish, nothing can resist that, because it's not something else imposing. To be clear, if it's Mitzad Chaya alone, Chaya is a Ratzon. So willpower imposes. He made a decision, it's not an agenda, he's going to get up. The Ratzon. So he's forcing himself. The Ratzon, in the morning, he's forcing his Maisa, his Machshav, his Dibur, his Seichel to comply. At some point they resist, and the will loses its speed. And there's constant resistance. And sometimes the argument why I shouldn't is stronger than the will. So the argument wins. That's because it's another koyach imposing itself on another koyach.
There's a motivation behind it. There's a motivation behind the Ratzon.
I'm saying that so Ratzon has an agenda. So if it has an agenda, so that's your world. My world of right now, of Maise, of Dibba, Machshav, of Hergish, is not that world. So, but the nature of things, the Ratzon is stronger. So if the Ratzon fires, it will override my emotional, intellectual resistance, and I'll do it. But it's a constant battle. And not always the Ratzon b'toikef. Moreover, sometimes the argument is so compelling that it will bring the Ratzon, which means there's another Ratzon there. But if it's inside the Etzem and the Shama, Yechida, that's who I am. It's not a struggle anymore. It's a Mesiras Nefesh where I'm not imposing on my conscious levels of self a higher power, but I'm blocking the essence of I am. So that's the war is over. There's no resistance. In other words, it's chideres b'chol keichas hanefesh ad keicha ma'isa. If we're touching on Yechida, it naturally permeates every dimension of the soul, because every dimension of the soul is nothing other than the expression of Yechidah, of the Etzer. Again, if you're dealing at the atomic level, or whatever you're dealing with, you're going to fix everything. Fix whatever the context is. Look at the words of the Maimir. So the Yid operates at the level of Yechidah. It's not a struggle. He's not a martyr. It's not a struggle. Every day a struggle in you. And it's a battle of will against another will of Nefesh Elikis against the will of Nefesh Bahamis, a will against Seichel, will against Midas. Not. In everything you can see, this is a Mesiras Nefesh Jew. The irony is that you don't see a big struggle on him. There's no struggle. He's struggling. This is what he's a chassid. That's how chassid behaves. It's not every day revisiting this and yes or no. It's a whole battle.
It's almost like he doesn't have bechira anymore.
That's he chooses. As we always say, the true free choice is freedom not to choose, but freedom from choice. So I'm not interested in this whole battle. I'm a chassid the Yid. Thank you very much. I'm tired of all of these discussions and battles and decisions. And that's it. To just be me. That's the deepest choice, is to choose to transcend choice. Now, in this context, I'm going to read this story. I left it in my office. It's in my phone.
Sorry, what is the quote? The true free choice is freedom from choice?
Yeah. You can quote me on that.
That's cool.
Ultimate free choice is freedom not to choose, but from choice. Yeah. You can go the other way too. A person is so imprisoned that he lost his, the other extreme to a certain degree, that he lost his ability to choose. That can happen temporarily, not ultimately, because the neshama, the etzem is the etzem. But, it can happen that the person's no in control of his behavior. He just can't. He can't. He's not in control. That's addiction, etc. That's in the negativity. But that can be.
So then it is true that we don't have free choice.
We do have free choice. Our choice.
No, but I'm saying ultimately we don't.
That is our choice. Ultimate choice is to choose not that choice. That's the real choice. That's the real battle. Am I going to choose to every day fight? Am I going to choose to not fight? For the bet not over.
Yeah.
You're going to the office and see it lying up, because it's my phone. You'll see it lying in the hallway.
The book is in the hall.
No, my briefcase, and the phone is in there. Okay, so just for like introduction to the story. You heard what he said, Rivka?
Sorry, I missed that. What did you just say?
Pardon?
What? Sorry? I missed what you just said, the last sentence.
Yes.
Oh, no. I love this concept. Thank you.
Yeah, the same thing. That's what the tzaddik has done. The tzaddik, who has completely transformed his Yetzer Hara, which means all resistance, all ego, and is revealing his Yechidah B'Nefesh. He wasn't born this way. It was a big avodah. And what's the avodah? What's the choice in the end is? The choice is not to have any choice. You. Freedom from the whole vacillation of will I, won't I? By drawing on the essence of the neshama that is one with Hashem, and that's the end of the story. There's no choice there. There is no choice in Yechidah, which is why a Jew, that explains in Tanya, over the millennia we have seen many simple unlettered Jews given the stark choice, bow down or not because they understood or was any rationale of Gehenna waiting for them, or schar, completely unfamiliar. And there was no time to even think of that. It was instinctual, I am a Yid. That's beyond the choice. That's beyond the choice. When you're facing the firing squad, by the way, or whatever it is, that's not the time to go through the whole. In fact, the Mesiras Nefesh exhibited by Yidden throughout the millennia is this Mesiras Nefesh. And the story of Hanukkah. the battle that they fought, they didn't even think they're going to win it. They just knew it can't be another way. The fight till the end. You didn't think they're going to win. You didn't think. Just pure Mesiras Nefesh.
I don't see virtues.
Oh,